the Wednesday about that fly.
Don't you
But
wish she was a
That's a
fly on
great
the wall?
segue.
a fly on the
Great
wall.
segue.
Child, listen. Wednesday was
Crazy.
craziness.
It wasn't that crazy, but okay, essentially
Not as crazy as.
not as crazy as the
last
president.
week, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Senator Kamala Harris and Vice President Michael Pence faced off last Wednesday in a vice presidential debate that did not go off the rail like the presidential debate, okay? But it definitely had its moments. Go ahead and take a listen to this.
Have witnessed what is the greatest failure of any presidential administration in the history of our country. The president said it was a hoax.
Susan,
And I want to
have
add,
weigh
but
in
if,
here.
Mr. Vice President, I'm speaking.
I have to
I'm
weigh
speaking.
in. The fact that you continue to undermine public confidence in a vaccine, if the vaccine emerges during the Trump administration, I think is unconscionable. And Senator, I just ask you, stop playing politics with people's lives.
He interrupted me, and I'd like to just finish, please. If you have a pre-existing condition, heart disease, diabetes, breast cancer, they're coming for you. If you love someone who has a pre-existing condition,
Thank
they're
you, Senator
coming for
Harris.
you.
They'd like to know if you and Joe Biden are going to pack the Supreme Court if you don't get your way in this nomination.
Let's talk about packing.
You once
Come on,
again gave a non-answer. Joe Biden gave a non-answer.
trying to answer you
The
now.
American- I just want the record to reflect she never answered the question.
Okay, so, child, like I said, this wasn't as bad as the presidential debate. Okay.
Oh, but he was trying it. He was trying it.
Oh, he was. And there was a lot of answers that he dodged, preferably, questions about the pandemic, Affordable Care Act, global warming. Kamala did too. She dodged the question about the court packing, which a lot of people were concerned about because we need to know what is your plan for this,
I think so this is my takeaway from the debate. I think Pence is a little more polished when it comes to debating or his style of debate, but he was just as rude as Trump was as far as the interrupting.
That covert shit.
Yeah, speaking over Kamala. And I think with her, and I don't want to always get into identity politics, but we can't address it without going here. With her being a black woman, being this close to the highest position of power in the world, besides Queen Elizabeth, I think that she navigated it so well with him interrupting her and her trying not to come off as this angry black woman when we know we were sitting there waiting on Auntie to show up.
Okay.
Ain't no way that Maxine Waters would have taken this man interrupting her as many times as he did. And as far as dodging questions, Mike Pence, I tweeted that whole night. The moderator sucked. Susan Page sucked as a moderator.
Really?
Very much so. Because there's no
She did
way.
better than a man.
Like I
Why?
said, it was a different
From the-
style, but I feel like she was just as ineffective because it took her too long to put him on pause and say, listen, these are the rules that you all agreed to. It's my job to enforce these rules. Please follow the rules that your party agreed to.
Right. She was letting him talk.
It took an hour into the show.
She was.
And he never answered the question that was asked. He was always going back. I thank you for that question, but I'm going to go back and answer this. No, nigga. Excuse me. See? No, you had your chance to answer this question.
Answer that question.
You answered it. You fumbled the bag. Kamala came and gathered you, and now you want to go back and give another. We don't have time for that. Answer the question and move on to something else. So that's the only thing I didn't like about the debate is that he annoyed me and the moderator annoyed me. I am so proud of Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
And the questions that she avoided, she was smart to avoid.
Okay.
Very much so. When it came to the court packing plan, you don't need to know what Joe Biden's plan is when it comes to the Supreme Court right now. You don't need to know that. What you need to know is we're in the middle of a pandemic. You need to know that our president and his administration is in the courts right now fighting to totally repeal the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, which protects pre-existing conditions.
Yeah.
Their speaking point now is like, oh no, your pre-existing conditions will be protected and we're going to blah, 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 blah. You don't have a health plan. The Trump-Pence ticket does not, right now, they don't have a comprehensive healthcare plan. You can say whatever you want. It's been 4 years. You don't have a plan.
You try to appeal this plan, Obama said,
Without having a plan in place.
Without having a plan
You don't
in
have a
place.
plan. So if the Supreme Court strikes down the ACA, between then and when you decide to put together or scrap together this remake of Obamacare, because that's what it'd be, a remake of Obamacare that just favors private insurance companies. That'd be it.
Okay.
For the market for a Trump administration, just so he can call it Trump care. You don't have a plan. We're in the middle of a pandemic that you fumbled, Mike Pence, who you're over the task force, and almost everybody in the White House everybody in the White House got corona.
Okay.
Like they don't have to answer questions about packing the Supreme Court. You're trying to put someone in the Supreme Court that is going to make it overly conservative, who's going to help you take away health care from 20 million Americans. I would have sat there and I would have laughed at him asking me about packing the courts. Don't worry about that. Just know that we're going to take care of the American people. The American people that you're trying to rip a chance for them to be healthy. Like the level of care that the president got because he contracted coronavirus. Americans aren't going to get that kind of care. We're not going to be flown out of a helicopter from our house to the best medical facility in the country and given experimental drugs that's not even FDA approved yet, steroid treatments, and sent back to our house. That's not going to happen for us. That's not realistic.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't laid out a plan for
anything.
Yeah, like you don't have a plan. And I feel like people voted for Trump last time because, he rallied against the establishment. That's what made Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders seem like the best candidates because, we're tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. We loved Obama, but what he represented and how he governed, but it's like we want something different. And I think Trump offered the most volatile shakeup, and that's what people wanted. They wanted someone that was going to be just open, honest, and say what they felt.
But then the problem is that
Donald Trump was just loud and lying. He wasn't lying. He wasn't loud and telling the truth. He wasn't speaking truth to power. He was just boasting ego, feeding lies, making you feel good, getting you excited, getting you riled up, so that he could take advantage of you. I feel like Donald Trump's administration has taken.
Businessman. I don't see how people.
Businessman. He's a con artist.
Well, yeah.
He's a con artist, a professional con artist. And he's conned the American people. And we're tired.
They don't let a reality TV show star.
Oh, you best believe if he loses this election, like he said, we'll never hear from him again. That's a lie because he has a book coming out, and they've been documenting. He's going to have either a movie or a documentary.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, he be the only one watching. I ain't got look. When you out the office, at this point you died, honey. To me, in my perspective, I don't care what you're doing.
We are
as long
tired.
As you're not in that White House.
Kamala did what she needed. Kamala came and did what she needed to do.
I just don't need you in the White House.
Huh?
Yeah, we just don't need him in the White House.
We just don't need him in the White House.
No, he'll move into that Trump Tower that he built in D.C.
Well, he said. Rumor has he might not want to step down. I'm like, if he loses, he doesn't want to step down.
He's going to contest the results.
So, I don't know.
I'm like,
got them Proud Boys.
If you don't get the hell up out that damn house, I will drag you out like that dude did that girl from Diary of a Mad Black Woman. You be dragged out the White House. Okay.
I think that most of his base is disillusioned that that Trump represents the American ideal for a majority of us, and they forget that Donald Trump,
racist,
right? A complete racist and xenophobic ideal. I'm not gonna say that Donald Trump is racist. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say he's xenophobic. I know that Donald Trump is an imperial capitalist. That's what I know him as. So it doesn't matter what your race is, as long as he's able to use you to make more money. He's gonna do that. White, black, Asian, doesn't matter. The goal is to make money off of you, trade and sell. But his base sees that as something else, and I think that if he loses, they're gonna feel that they've officially now, not just when Barack won, because that was a tough time for them. They were sick for that 8 years. You know what I mean?
Oh, they hate it.
He won again. I was like, oh, so
right. So if Trump loses this election, it is going to be a referendum on what the American ideal is. That is going to be the rejection that, you know what? now that we've seen what America could be and could look and could feel like, the respect that we've had on the global stage, having a president that speaks eloquently, having a first lady that is intelligent and graceful and powerful and compassionate, and seeing the best of what America could be outside of white privilege. Us choosing this time, we're done. Because we've seen how bad it can get. Yeah, this administration has literally almost
the worst
bankrupted America morally, socially, economically, health wise. Like
relationships with other nations like China and
right.
stuff. Like
we're isolated. We're not safe. You're bolstering up the military because you're trying to take on this North Korea approach where it's America versus everybody. That is what Donald Trump is trying to build us up to be. Where it's America versus the world.
Child, these countries going to jump us.
But it's not even about that. Any intelligent person would realize that if we want to be successful and if we're really trying to move into a more healthier world environment, world civilization or society, that it requires us to be to honor our allyships and also not just, because Kamala said something about our enemy, know who our enemies are and our adversaries. I do believe that there is a space and there's a chance for the world to revolve and work together. I do believe that. That is something that is internal. I believe that. Yeah. Even though we may be governed in different ways, I know that there's an opportunity for that to happen. But everything on the Republican
is calling me.
Tell them we busy.
I'm not picking up. I'm just
unless it's your man.
It ain't.
And then we'll just have to go to commercial break.
Honey,
right.
Child, it ain't my man, child.
But I think this anti-globalist attitude that most, I won't say most, but a lot of Americans have, that he incites this whole America first. Like, we can be first, and there's nothing wrong with being proud of where you're from, and nationalism has its positive qualities. I grew up being proud of being American. I'm from the South. I'm from Louisiana. I was raised in a conservative red state. I'm proud to be an American person. I always thought that I was American first. Like I was born in America.
Yeah.
So I know I learned that I was black. And that was part of Pan-Africanism. But I'm American. They say, where are you from?
Learn that
what's
later,
your nationality?
Later on in life,
what's your nationality? And people are like, what do you mean? I'm American. Like, no, where are you from? Like, where are your people from? Like, oh, my ethnicity. My ethnicity is African American. I'm black. I'm mixed with black and blacker. That's what I would tell people because that's who I was. I'm black. I'm American. So I get the nationalist approach to how we should honor and revere our nation. If we are going to be the United States, then we should be united. What I don't like is the fact that because I am black and I recognize that there are certain things that happen in my community that don't get addressed the same way that it would in other people's community. I recognize that as inequality. And because I'm conscious enough to recognize that inequality, and because I'm American and I know I have the freedom to speak up about it to my government, because from what I learned, you're supposed to listen to me because you work for me. You represent me. How dare you, as a government, tell me that I can't protest what's happening in my community, what's happening to people that look like me? How dare you label me as a thug or as a criminal? Because I would rather see buildings burned down than to see human beings murdered by the people that are paid by tax dollars.
It is crazy how they say that
protect us.
Every time. It's like this country was built off of rioting.
Yes.
Like
and stealing and looting.
And,
This country, the founding of America was looted. America was looted.
Okay.
Raped and pillaged.
Then it took some time.
Yeah.
But it's different when white people do it. When white people do it, they call it conquest. You know what I mean? They call it creating space for themselves. But let a black nation come to America today. Let black people around the world decide that we're tired of seeing people. Right. Oh, they're savages. Like cue Megan the Stallion. Let that be the war cry then, if that's the case. But because we're conscious enough to recognize that and to speak to that, it scares white people when they feel like black people want revenge and not equality. You should be glad that we're asking for equity. and not calling for revenge.
Okay.
You should be glad. So him telling the Proud Boys to stand back and stand by. That's for the white. That's for white people who are
and the
white
Proud Boys.
sympathists.
The Proud Boys are talking. And I wanted, and we can talk through these airways. So I want to see what you. I cannot wait till what's the name went to Joe Biden wins, because I want to see what they're gonna have to do.
They're gonna do just like they did in 2008. They're gonna be mad. They'll protest for 2 days, and then they're gonna go back to work because they're gonna realize that there are more people in America that are anti-racism than there are racists in this country. No matter who the president is, his base that he speaks to, that he dog whistles to, is a very small minority. And that's why a lot of Republicans get so angry about, seeing Black Lives Matter, and because when things get racialized, because they're like, you're making this about identity politics. We should be talking about the economy. We should be talking about policies that affect American families and how to build out the middle class and, and things like that. And I agree with that. However, we're not going to ignore what's happening in our societies in different states and realizing that there are still people who are marginalized in 2020. We're in the 21st century now. We are 20 years into the 21st century. 20 years into it. Get it together.
Yeah.
Because it's not going to work. This is not 1960.
Back.
This is not 1931. It's not 1918.
What?
You try that shit, we're going to whoop your ass.
Generation.
And that's what we're right. We're going to whoop your ass. We're not running from you anymore. You got dogs. That's fine. We got pepper spray. We'll shoot your dog. Like that's
why I said, child, I might have to rethink this getting this NRA.
Oh no, please go get your gun. Black people, if you listening, go get your license.
Go get your guns,
and
honey.
get your gun.
Okay, because
sign up for the NRA. Watch the gun laws change though. If there was a swell in minorities going to get guns and going to get firearms, the gun laws would change.
Oh, it is going to change. I do think.
And listen, y'all got me fired up. Anyway, the debate was. They say Kamala won the debate.
Yeah, that's what CNN.
I say the fly won the debate.
You said the fly.
Sean Williams.
Wendy
won
said,
the
"I
debate.
think we should stop worrying about that fly, girl."
Wendy is on drugs. We don't care what she says anymore.
You over here calling the Corona Corova. I wanted to talk about that because her little response to this, I don't like both of them, but I know who I'm voting for. I just don't like it. It seems like they're lying.
It's the cocaine.
What are you doing?
Coke.
Child, she gonna be on YouTube. We wait.
Brought up Wendy Williams. She done pissed me off now. I tried to hold out a little bit for Wendy, but we're gonna have to. I can't do Wendy anymore. She's just.
No, I can't do Wendy.
I just feel like she's on a slow decline.
She really lost it though. Like she really used to. She used to look.
She just need to go to therapy and say goodbye to this show, and maybe she should go back to radio.
Yeah, because I think radio was more lax.
Yeah.
She should go back.
She's not gonna do that though.
She should go back to radio.
She don't want nobody taking her slot.
And then Nene should get her show.
She don't want, like I said, she don't want nobody taking her slot. You seen when she left the first time when she was on her little sabbatical or whatever when she was sick.
She was at home.
She had everybody that was incapable of doing that show on there. Who the fuck is who is that? Who's that white guy again?
I don't know, but Nick can't.
Jerry O.
I don't know, but I liked it when Nick was there.
Well, Nick can't. They can't do hot topics. Get
because they're celebrities.
Because they control the narrative. Yeah, I don't want no celebrity doing that.
Well, Wendy's a celebrity, even though she as a journalist, she's a celebrity. She's like Oprah. Like after Oprah,
it's different with Wendy though.
But it's not like if you look back at early Oprah Winfrey shows, Oprah was Wendy at one point. Oprah was messy. Did you see the interview she did with Tony Braxton? Oprah was messy.
And Nick Cannon was messy, and Jerry O was messy.
Well, not as messy, but Nick's
we need the mess.
You need the mess. I think Tasha K could do Wendy's job. Like we have YouTube celebrities. I'm just saying, like we have people now who can do Wendy's job.
Replace that T.
Okay.
Put them all on a panel. Tasha K, Jason.
Put the Darren Greene show on there. Shit.
Tasha K, Jason Lee, Michelle from AT-Alien.
Jason Lee.
And like, I don't know, not Charlamagne, but like somebody else that does like celebrity news. Put them on a panel and let that just be the tea. I would watch that more before I would tune into Wendy.
Okay, make it a panel. Yeah, that'd be interesting.
But anyway, I don't know how we got on Wendy. We talking about a fly.
Yeah,
in these debates. Your president doesn't even want to do another debate.
He doesn't want to do a debate, child, because they want to try to do a virtual. My thing is this: now he's gonna get another test for COVID.
They're gonna lie. They're gonna lie. Say he don't have
it. No, if he comes back negative, I'm gonna be like, nah, you must have been lying about that shit, because I still feel like he was lying.
He was coughing and sneezing on his interview yesterday.
He was coughing and sneezing. Yeah, that's right.
Man.
He probably do got it, girl.
Probably do. That man is 74 years old.
He better go home and sleep
and not wake up. That's what you said. Oh, that's what I heard.
Child, he gonna be just like Nene Leakes on that on Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion when they mute her.
He gonna close. Can you imagine Donald Trump closing the laptop in the middle of the debate? I don't want to do this no more. I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly. He's gonna do. Yeah.
I can see him doing that though. I can most definitely see him doing that.
Because if it's gonna be virtual, they're gonna mute his ass.
What was your favorite part of the debate, Nevada?
My favorite part, my favorite part is when she kept having to say, "I'm talking." I'm talking. But you pretty much cover all the key points in the debate. Kamala Harris did an amazing job. And all I can really say is that she is such a representation of what we need right now for Black women. And, you know, no matter how you feel about her personally, I think Kamala Harris is equipped and capable to get America back on the right track with Biden. So,
right. And if Joe Biden dies, I'd be okay with Kamala being president. That's the question. That's another question they avoided. They both avoided that question about if they had spoken to the presidential candidates about their a plan for disability, for presidential disability. Like if either one of them fell ill, how would they, if there was a plan in place. Kamala talked around it because I feel like I don't even think that's really it's not a conversation to really be had. Like that's kind of weird. Like, oh yeah, my boss is old. That's what it'd be like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's old and he may have a stroke and I have to do his job. But that's what we have vice presidents for. Like if the president falls ill,
foot in the door,
it goes to the vice president.
Too much that can really throw it. Yeah.
Right.
Kamala's doing everything that she needs to be doing. I mean, I felt like I had to settle for Biden. I personally wanted a woman president when Hillary was running, and they tried Hillary.
She wasn't the right woman.
She wasn't the right woman.
She would have been.
She's the most experienced and qualified. I really did. She's the most experienced and qualified candidate for president we've had in the history of our country. The lady ran a state as a first lady, quote unquote, or as a governess with her husband in Arkansas. Went on to win the White House for 8 years, weathered through a scandal, still stayed by her husband. Managed to influence policy, got out of the White House, immediately became a senator in New York, went from that helping change laws, and then ran for president not once, but 3 times. She was Secretary of State under the first Black president, which means like this lady, Hillary Clinton, was not going to give up. That's one thing I did admire about her. Now, I worked on her campaign for a while when I was in college before I left and jumped ship and went for Barack because I didn't like how they were attacking him. But
you was in college when they was.
I was in college in 2008. I pledged in spring 2008.
I was in 5th grade.
I was 8.
Yeah, 8. Bless your heart. You were born in 2000.
I was 8.
Lord Jesus, fix it.
I'm a 2000 baby.
You were 21st century baby.
Oh Lord.
See, I was born in the 20th century, back in the late 80s. But yeah, I was in college and I was a campaign manager for 3 colleges at that time, and I left Hillary's campaign and went for Obama's. But yeah, she's still to this day, she's probably the most qualified person that's ever run for president. And I see Kamala, I think in 10, 20 years after she becomes the first Black and first Asian female vice president of the United States, I have no doubt. No, I'm speaking into I have no doubt. Even if they don't win this election, I have no doubt that Kamala Harris, she's already made history. She's already part of American history. But between her and Elizabeth Warren, we've seen and we've been introduced to our first female president already, and we just have to prepare ourselves and prepare our children and our communities for that. And it starts with local elections. So for any of you who are listening, if you have not registered to vote, especially if you are in New York, today's the last day to register to vote.
I think in New Jersey too.
You can check your registration. Go to iwillvote.org. Or actually iwillvote.com, I think. and you can check your registration. You can register whatever state you're in, or you can go to flywillvote.com because you can go there and you can choose
They're
your
doing
state.
so much stuff so that it can make it harder for people to vote. Like in Philly, not in Philly, in Pennsylvania, like the website like was down.
It crashed.
It crashed, and they kept on saying, "Oh, go register to vote. Go register to vote." You click the link, it's not working.
Child, you can register to vote on. You can go register to vote on Snapchat now.
Okay.
No, I got a message from Snapchat in my DMs. I'm thinking that somebody actually liked me.
Oh,
and it was a message from Snapchat.
No.
It was a message from Snapchat telling you to register to vote. So yes, please register to vote. Vote early. Vote early. Vote
and your
early.
vote counts.
Make a plan. I'm waking up at 4:30 in the morning because I think my ballot they sent it to my old address. But I'm waking up at 4:30 a.m. on November 3rd. I'm going to be at least in the top 10 people to go vote. Polls open at 6:00 in the morning. I anticipate being there no later than 5:30.
And that ballot, they'll deceive you because they say you got to vote until by November 3rd or some shit like
November
that.
3rd is election day.
I told my dad, no, you go ahead and you do that shit now.
Vote
because
early.
You know how long it's going to take for them to count these votes? These
4 million people have already voted.
You ain't gonna want to be sending them lines.
Yeah, well, we don't want to wait either.
Right. That night, I need to know who my president is because the last time we had a cake and everything. We were just so disappointed. We were just watching those states turn. We were like,
what the fuck?
What is happening? What is? Well, we did. We were like,
no,
we were
every election, I go to sleep. I'm like, I can't do this. I gotta sleep, and then I wake up.
Your anxiety.
And I always get a text from my dad. And he'll tell me who wins.
I'm scared.
I remember I woke up. He said Trump won. I said, God damn. I was mad as fuck.
It's a dream. Ain't no way.
That was and that was when I was in my other school, child. Ooh, the Trump supporters came out the woodwork. I seen so many white people with the fucking Trump shirts. I'm like, where did y'all come from? We was in our black history classes. They were out there. They was like, oh, well, we need change.
Change from what?
I'm like, okay, girl. Not you in a black history class talking like that.
They wanted to go back to what their parents were familiar with when Reagan was in office, because that's what this is.
Because we just have to understand these people have suppressed a lot of their emotions because they know minority have the upper hand, and we do. It's
PC.
more of us than them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just that's sick that people can go years and years suppressing this type of feeling within themselves, and then as soon as you have someone who's representing them, they just come out of nowhere. And it could be a friend, it could be a coworker, it could be someone that you just would never have thought. And that's the most scary part. I admire Trump because he's vocally opinions. And so I'd rather be racist to me in my face than to just suppress it, because at least I'll know what I'm dealing with. But
yeah.
Well, we'll leave that where it is. Make sure you guys register to vote.
Yeah.
And because it's time. It's time for change, and we're gonna make sure that we get it.
Okay.
So speaking of changes,
let's talk about
there's been some changes in our favorite